Welcome back to the pre-learning module for Ship Safety Course, Part 5. This module, Part 5, covers the sections indicated in red: the International Convention on Tonnage Measurement of Ships, 1969, Tonnage, 1969, and the Convention on the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, 1972, COLREG, 1972. 4.4 Tonnage 1969. Background. Before this convention, no universal tonnage measurement system had been agreed upon by nations worldwide. Each country followed its own system. Due to this, experts recognized that the world needed to agree on a single international system, and to address this concern, the International Convention was adopted on 23 June 1969 by the IMO, which entered into force on 18 July 1982. To ease confusion during the transitional period, the rules of the convention only applied to ships built on or after 18 July 1982. Ships built before that date were allowed to retain their existing tonnage for 12 years after the rules went into force, 18 July 1994. A ship's tonnage is used for the following: as the threshold value for applying various convention rules, such as those of the SOLAS Convention and MARPOL; as the index figure for taxes and various fees, such as port charges and pilotage fees; and for administration matters, such as ship registration and managing maritime policies. Regarding the interim scheme for tonnage measurement for certain ships. This slide shows IMO Resolution A494/12. At the request of a ship owner, the administration may allow a ship to use the gross tonnage measured under the national tonnage rules which are in effect prior to the coming into force of the 1969 Tonnage Convention for the purpose of application of the provisions of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. For such a ship, the administration may show only the gross tonnage measured under national tonnage rules with the footnote indicated in the box on the slide. This slide illustrates the concept of international tonnage. As you may know, tonnage does not describe the weight of the ship but its volume, as indicated by the simplified illustrations in this slide. Gross tonnage is a measure of a ship's overall volume. Net tonnage is a measure of a ship's total volume for cargo spaces and passengers. Article 12 of Tonnage 1969, Inspection, includes provisions regarding the following. Inspections shall be limited to the purpose of verifying that the ship is provided with a valid international tonnage certificate, and that no delay shall be caused to the ship. If any difference was found to lead an increase in the gross or net tonnage, the administration shall be informed without delay. The next section covers the Convention on the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, 1972, COLREG, 1972. This convention regulates international sea traffic and is also incorporated as one of the instruments of the SOLAS Convention. This slide summarizes the history of the convention. The current version, COLREG 1972, replaced the 1960 version and entered into force on 15 July 1977. Regarding the outlines of COLREG 1972. There are no provisions for surveys or inspections in COLREG 1972. However, this was incorporated into SOLAS Convention Chapter 1, which requires that ships are equipped with the proper lights, shapes, and sound and light signals for sending messages and indicating distress, as required by the provisions of COLREG. This slide shows the requirements for the navigation lights of power-driven vessels when they are underway. A masthead light forward, a second masthead light, side lights on both sides, and a stern light shall be exhibited as indicated in the slide. This slide shows the requirements regarding the horizontal lighting arc and positioning of the navigation lights for power-driven vessels underway. The arc of the masthead light is 225 degrees. The arc of the side lights is 112.5 degrees, and the arc of the stern light is 135 degrees, as shown in the slide. This slide illustrates the required position and spacing of lights for power-driven vessels, as provided in Annex 1 of COLREG 1972. The illustration is self-explanatory. Please study it closely to understand the requirements. The mark in the red circle indicates an eye facing the bow from the front direction. It explains the requirement for the vertical separation of the masthead lights. In normal conditions of trim, the vessel's afterlight shall be visible over and separate from the forward light at a distance of 1,000 metres from the stem when viewed from sea level. Another important requirement is that the side lights cannot be placed in front of the forward masthead lights. The slide shows the requirements for anchored vessels. After sunset, an anchored vessel must display an all-round white light in the forepart and an all-round white light near the stern and at a lower level than the forward light as indicated in the slide. Daylight. An anchored vessel must display one black ball in the forepart as indicated in the slide. The required equipment for sound signals are as follows. A whistle, a bell and a gong are required for sound signals in accordance with the length of the ship, as indicated in the slide. Ships must be provided with the equipment for making sound signals in restricted visibility and sounding distress signals. Thank you for your kind attention. This concludes Part 5 of the module.